Hey guys, what's going on? It's Lewis here with Crypto Elite, and in today's video, we're going to be going over the trading platform Tradingview. This video will be a complete overview and tutorial, so there will be a lot that we're going to be covering. We're going to be going over all of the different features the platform offers, where they're located, how they work, and so much more. Now, if you just want to skip to a particular section, I will have timestamps in the description below, so you could check that out for your convenience. Now, this is going to be a long video, so let's get into it. To use Tradingview is absolutely free. All you need to do is go to tradingview.com. And once you get there, you could simply click the little hamburger icon and go to products and then click the chart plus button. And that will bring you to the charts. By using the free plan, you will have limitations to using the product. And if you want to know what those limitations are, you could simply go home and then go to products and pricing, and then you will see Pro, Pro Plus, and Premium, and this will give you all of the benefits of their different price plans. You can see that the Pro version has 5 indicators per chart, 2 charts in one window, 20 server-side alerts. It's ad-free. There's volume profile indicators, custom time intervals, multiple enhanced watch lists, bar replay on intraday bars, and multi-monitor support in desktop app. On the free version, you don't get as many indicators per chart. There are ads on the free version. You don't get as many alerts. I believe you only get 1 alert, and there's a lot of other things. So if you just scroll down, you could compare the plans between the basic free plan and the Pro plan, the Pro Plus plan, and the Premium plan. Obviously, there's ads in the basic plan, and there's no ads in any of the paid versions. The charts, you can only have 1 in the basic, while you could have 2, 4, or 8, depending on these different plans. You can only have 1 saved chart layout in the basic plan, while you could have 5 in the Pro plan, along with custom time intervals in the Pro, Pro Plus, and Premium. Scrolling down, the bar replay is something that I really enjoy with Tradingview, and that's available in these paid plans. And going down even further, some people like using a lot of indicators, so maybe 3 won't be enough for you. Going down even further, the alerts, which are very important if you're trading, in my opinion. You only get 1 on the basic plan, and alerts are extremely useful if you're a trader. So only being able to have 1 basically rules out the basic plan, in my opinion, for anyone who's trying to take trading more serious. And if we go down even further, you could see the differences within the screener, the differences within the data, the differences within the social, the differences within the trading, which there are none, and a few other things if we just keep on going down. So there are differences between all of the plans, of course. Now, something about Tradingview is that you can try any of the plans free for 30 days. So if you think that you want to try the Pro plan, the Pro Plus plan, or even the Premium plan, it doesn't really matter. You can try it out for 30 days by clicking any of these links, and that will give you a really good feel to determine if you really need it, because maybe you'll sign up for the Premium, but you realize that you only use maybe 5 indicators at max, and you only have 20 alerts. Well, that way, you know you only need the Pro version, because the Pro will cover your needs. So I like the fact that they do give you the free trial for 30 days. And if you decide to try it out and eventually upgrade to a paid plan, you could get up to $30 if you use my affiliate link, which I'll have in the description below. So if you use that link, you'll be brought to this page, and then you could choose your plan. And if you do decide that you want to try it out, you could click the try free for 30 days. And that brings you to this sign in page, where it gives you the option to sign in through all of these social medias or sign in through your email. However, you're not signing in, you're signing up. So if you don't have an account, you need to actually click this button called sign up, and then the sign up comes up, and you could use any of your social media accounts to sign up, or you could simply use your email and then simply input a username, an email address, a password, click here, click I'm not a robot, do some CAPTCHA, and then click create account. After you fill out this information and you click create account, you'll have to go into your email account to verify the information. And then when you click that button, you'll be brought back to Tradingview. Now, if you did sign up for one of the trial versions, whether it be the Pro Plus, or the Premium, you will need to enter in credit card details, and you will be charged after 30 days unless you decide to cancel before the 30-day trial is up. If you don't want to put in any details, you can try free basic plan and just click that and then sign up using the free basic plan, or you don't even need to really sign up. using anything, you could simply just go here and then go to the charts. And as you can see, the charts are available even without signing up at all. And now that we're in the charts, let's talk about how to go over the different chart settings. First things first, let's get rid of this white background and go on to the dark side in dark mode. And so to do that, all you need to do is right click on the chart itself, go down to color theme, you'll see light or dark, click dark, and there you go. Now it is much easier and much better on the eyes. Now the default view when it comes to the candles is just a regular candlestick chart pattern, which is right here. So if you want to change that and you want to see, for instance, a line chart, or you want to see a Renko chart or any other type of chart, you could simply click this button right here and you could choose what type of chart you want. Most of the time, I just prefer, in fact, almost all the time, I just use candles because that is the normal chart to use when trading. I haven't really seen people use any other charts except for the line charts. But if you want different charts, that's how to get them. And if you want to change the colors of the different candles, you could do that by simply right-clicking anywhere on the actual chart, click settings, and then you will see the body, the border, the wick, the last price line, and the pre/post market price line. And so maybe you don't want green candles on the up and red candles going down because maybe that creates too much FOMO. So what you want to do is you want to change the color of the candlesticks. So maybe you change the green candle going up to blue, and you'll change the border to blue as well, and maybe you'll change the colors going down to this gray color. It could really be anything you want, and you probably want to change the wicks and the borders as well. So there you go. And if you want to keep this as a template, all you need to do is click this button down here called template, save as. And if you actually had an account, you'd be able to save it. This is a demo, so I don't have an account, so I'll just click exit, but you would simply save it and save it as whatever you want to call it. And then you click OK. If we go back to the settings tab, which again, you could get to by right-clicking and clicking on settings, or by clicking the little icon right here, you could get back to here. And if you click status line, this will give you all of the things that will show up at the top of your chart, usually in the top left. So the symbol right here, this is Apple Inc. and it's on the NASDAQ. You probably want that. So you could click that if you don't want it. You click it if you do want it, says the description. Or you could get just simply the ticker symbol if you want it to use a little less space, or you could have the ticker and the description if you want the full picture. Personally, I think the description is just fine because on the right-hand side, you could see that there is the ticker symbol right there. Other useful information includes the open, the high, the low, and the close. That's what this O, H, L, and C stand for. And they tell you the open of the particular time period that you're on. So right now we are on the 1-day candles. So if we hover above this candle right here, you could see right there, the O says 182.63. So that was the open. The H is 182.94. So that was the absolute high. That was the highest point in the day. The low, of course, the lowest point of the day, 179.12. The close is where it closed, and that was 179.70. So the first number you see, which is negative 2.31, that's the absolute number. That's the absolute value, which is the close price on whatever candle you are currently on minus the close price of the previous candle. So in this case, the close price for this candle is 179.70, and the close price of the previous candle was 182.01. So 179.70 minus 182.01 equals negative 2.31. And right next to that is the percent change. So that is a negative 1.27% change from yesterday's close to today's close. And this is very helpful because, for instance, if you go right here and you want to see how high did this candle bar go, instead of going into here and trying to figure out where the actual percentage gain is and then clicking on this and then clicking here and then going up and clicking here and seeing, okay, so from the bottom of this candle or the close of this candle to the close of this candle, it went up 6.98%. That was a whole lot of steps. when you could simply just look right up here, put your cursor over the candle and see 6.98%. And that's the percentage gain from the previous candle's close to the current candle's close. Going back to the settings, you could also choose to put the volume into the legend, or you could have a volume as one of your indicators, which is on the left-hand side over here and denoted down here by these bars. And if you know that this is the volume and you don't want the title to be there, you could click this and it will take the title of the indicator off. But obviously you probably want to know the titles of the indicators. Same thing with the value of the indicators. I don't know why they would even have this as an option, because why would you put an indicator up if you don't want the value of the indicator to be shown? Now, if we move on to the scales, there is the symbol name label. If you click that, you can see that the symbol comes up right here. You probably don't need to use that because the symbol is up here. Also, it could be here, and also it could be right here as well. And you should probably know what symbol you're looking at, so you don't really need that. Then there's the symbol last price label, and you could choose whether to have it be the value according to scale or the price and percentage value. I like the value according to scale. If you don't want that, then obviously you could just click that. But this is really good because it tells you exactly what the price is at the moment. It's very useful. There's also bid and ask labels, not necessary. You could also choose to get the name of your indicators down at the bottom, wherever you choose to have your indicators. So for instance, the volume is right here. So this says the volume, but you probably don't need to have that on. The value label of your indicator though is probably important in your trading. And so that's why this is on right here. And then there's also the countdown to bar close. And if I go to a different symbol, such as Bitcoin, you could see that we are on the 1 day and there is 23 hours, 26 minutes and 56 seconds until this bar closes. If we go from the daily time frame to the 4-hour time frame, you can see that there's 3 hours, 26 minutes and 43 seconds before this bar actually closes. So I do very much like having the countdown to bar close option on. And then there are other things that you could play around with here. Finally, going to the appearance, you could change the background. It's the gradient background right now. So let's say you want to have it be gradient dark blue and black. You could do that. That's fine. That's actually pretty cool. You can make it light blue. You can make it whatever color you actually want. You can make it solid, or you can make it other colors. And by the way, if you are on TradingView and you haven't signed up and you're messing around with it, you do need to sign up because this will continue to pop up and you don't really have an option to get out of it. So you would have to click that. And then even if you click exit, it's going to continue to come up. So because of this, I'm going to log in to my own account and then just continue from there. Okay, so going back to the appearance, of course, like I mentioned, you can change it from gradient, or you could change it to simply a solid color, any color you want. Doesn't really matter, but obviously that does not look good. So I prefer the standard gradient night mode feel. And there's also the ability to change the vertical grid lines and the horizontal grid lines, which are these lines right here. I like having them on just the way they are, the opacity at 6%, because if you bring it all the way up, or even higher than, 6% or something, it just gets to be, it's too much in my opinion. So I like to keep them very, very, very low opacity so that they're in the background and they're there, but it's not very noticeable. And there's also all of these other options for you to change if you want to mess around with the appearance, really make it your own. Now in TradingView, you can link up your brokerage account directly to TradingView. And if you do that, then you could change some of the settings right here underneath the trading tab. And this will help show or not show different trading information that you want displayed on the charts, basically when applicable. And I'll talk about how to link your brokerage account later on in the video. Finally, there's the events tab, which shows you what events you want to be shown on the chart. I know that Amazon had a lot of different information. So if we click that, you can see that there's nothing on the chart, but that's because we're on the weekly. But if you go to the daily chart, you could see there are the earnings reports right here. So you could click on that and it tells you the relevant information for that. There was a 20-to-1 split on June 6th, which you would click right there. There will be another earnings and revenue report right here. So this is really cool because it shows you the different dates that are very important. And obviously the daily chart is the chart that you want to be on, so you could see the exact day that things happen. And so if we go back to the settings, you could see that we went over all of the different settings available. Now, to view different markets, it's extremely easy. All you need to do is start typing in the different market that you want. So for instance, if I want to look at Bitcoin's price, I would type BTC because that's Bitcoin, and then USD because that's the pairing that it is up against. And then I would simply choose whatever exchange I want to look at, and I will get the price right there, and I'll get all the information for that. I could also click up here at the top left, and this will give me all of the different stocks, futures, forex, crypto, indices, etc., etc. And I can also type it in the search bar, and that'll bring it up like this. So it's very, very easy to find whatever market you want. All you need to do is type the ticker symbol in, followed by what you want it to be up against. So if you want ETH USD, you type ETH against USD, and that brings it up. If you want Ethereum against Bitcoin, you type ETH BTC, and that brings the chart of Ethereum against Bitcoin up. And at the top left over here, it tells you what chart you're looking at, the time frame, what brokerage you're looking at, and Tradingview because you're using Tradingview. Additionally, you could filter things out by clicking this button right here, and you could filter out different markets by where they're sourced, such as North America, Europe, Middle East, etc., etc. You could filter it out by Forex and CFDs, or you could filter it out with cryptocurrency down here and look at all of the different cryptocurrency exchanges. Okay, so now that we covered the settings, let's go into the watch list section at the top right corner of the screen. To open up the watch lists, all you need to do is click this button right here and the watch list will appear. Here you'll see all of the different assets that you choose to be in your watch list. You could see in this one, this is my cryptocurrency watch list. So I have the total market cap for all of cryptocurrency. I have Bitcoin, Ethereum, and I also include the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 in this watch list. So you could put whatever you want into your different watch lists, and you create multiple watch lists and you can name them whatever you want. For all of the different assets that are within your watch list, you'll have the symbol right here, then you'll have the last price, followed by the change in the price, followed by the change percentage in the price. And so you could see that Bitcoin is up about 1.3% since yesterday, and that is the information that is right here, and that's also the information that is right here as well. So you're getting the same information in this legend up here, and you're getting it right here. Clicking on any of these things will open up the chart in the chart window. To add an asset to your watch list, you could simply type in the asset that you want and go to the chart, and then right click anywhere on the chart, and then click add to watch list, and you'll see it as all of the different watch lists come up that you do have. Right now I'm under the market cap, dominance, BTC, ETH, etc., etc. So I click that, and when I do, you could see now it is in this watch list. So if I don't want it, then I simply hover over it and click the little X right there, and now it is not in my watch list anymore. You could also add assets to your watch list by clicking this little plus add symbol, and then you could click on whatever you want. So for instance, XRP, click that, and now XRP is part of my watch list. And then once again, I click the X button and it's off of it. Now, as you probably saw, I have multiple watch lists. So if you click this little drop down menu right here, you can see all of the different watch lists that I have down here. For instance, my change percentage list. So I could click that, and then I could click the change percentage once or two times to get the total change. And now I could see the biggest gainers and losers in the market by simply clicking this right here. If I wanted them in alphabetical order, I could click the symbol button right there. You could see that a lot of these are no longer in the market. So I could just exit, and cancel all of these out. And now I have all of the different assets that I want in alphabetical order. But for this one, it's my percentage change list. And so this is how I see the biggest losers, or if I click it again, the biggest gainers. If you want to add a new watch list, all you do is click the drop down menu and right here, create new list. And then you could say new list or whatever you want to name it, click save. And now you have a blank watch list. and you could add whatever you want into this watch list. Now, if you want to add markets to your watch list, you can simply Google watch lists on TradingView and find the different markets that you want. Personally, I like using this website called sandwich.finance, which has up-to-date TradingView watch lists for all of the different cryptocurrency markets. So you could see if you want all of the markets on Coinbase, you could just click that, and then you'll have the text for all of the markets that are on Coinbase. Or if you just want the USD markets, you could simply click that, and that will download the text editor of the USD markets. So going back to TradingView, you could say this list right here, let's say you want to rename it. So you could click this button and click rename, and you could say Coinbase USD watch list, enter, and now you have it. And then if you want to add the watch list, all you need to do is click this button, import list, find it under your downloads, and now there you go. You have all of the Coinbase USD markets in your watch list. Very, very cool. You might also notice that some of the coins I have flagged a certain color. So these are all blue. And so TradingView allows you to do this. So if you have a coin that you are looking at, you could simply click this little flag button right here and determine what color you want to flag it. And this could be good if you want to flag the assets that you are currently in a trade with, or assets that you want to trade, assets that, for instance, are coming into a trade, or maybe you want them for another particular reason. You can see that if I click this and I make it pink, then I could simply click this button up here and it has the pink list. And that's how you could get all of the different assets that you chose for that particular color. Now you can click each of these individually, or you could click the down arrow on your keyboard and it will scroll through the different coins or assets for you, or the up arrow as well to go up. And you don't need to have this open in order to do that. So if I click this button again, I have a full view of the charts, and I could click the down arrow and it will scroll through the different charts, or the up arrow and it'll scroll back up. Now, if you want, you can add the volume to the list of things that you see here, but the volume doesn't seem to be so accurate all the time. So I don't like to have it on, and I prefer just these columns. Now, if we click this button, we'll get back to the actual chart, and let's just put on Bitcoin. Let's even go back to the settings and go back to the default settings that TradingView normally has. And now we'll go into how to change the different time frames. So when you are doing an analysis, typically you want to do something called a top-down analysis, where you go from the higher time frames to the lower time frames. So to do that, you simply use this up here, where you could start off on the monthly and then plot out certain levels. So maybe you say you want to plot that out because it's a very important monthly level. Maybe you want to plot this out because it's another important monthly level, et cetera, et cetera. Then you go down to the weekly and you could plot the weekly levels out, something like this. Then you go down to the daily, and then the 12-hour, the 4-hour, and you get more and more precise by going down into the smaller time frames. And so that is how you change the different time frames on the chart. You could also choose to click the drop down button right here and add whatever time frame you want to your legend at the top. Right now, all of my favorites are starred. And so if you want to add, for instance, the 3-hour to the legend, you would simply favorite it, and now you can see the 3-hour is added. I don't use the 3-hour, so I will remove it from the favorites. Same with the 2-hour, I hardly use that, so I will simply remove that from my favorites. And now I have all of the different times that I enjoy, or that I tend to use most often. And if you want a custom time, you could scroll down and you could add whatever custom time you want, whether it's the minute, the hours, the days, the weeks, whatever. You just add it right down there, click add, and then it'll be added to this list, of which you could favorite it and it'll show up in the legend. You could also zoom in and out of the different charts by dragging the y-axis or the x-axis to different points, or you could use your mouse to simply scroll and use the scrolling wheel on your mouse or on your trackpad, or you could click this zoom button right here, and let's say you want to zoom into this section right there, boom, Now it is up close and personal for your viewing. And if you want to return to your previous view, you simply click the zoom out button and it gets you back to where you were before. You can also zoom in and out of the charts by clicking the zoom in button right there at the bottom, or the zoom out button right there at the bottom as well. And there's also the option, if you right click here, to auto fit the data to the screen. So right now this is on. If you click that off, you'll see that it will simply just scroll to whatever you want and it's completely freehand. But if you want the data to always be on the screen, you could right click that, click auto fits data to screen. And now when you scroll in and out, the data will always be fitting on the actual screen. And if you scroll left, the data will continue to fit within the parameters of the screen. Also, if you find yourself at a place where you don't really know where you are at the charts, you can right click and click reset chart, and it'll reset your chart so that the newest candle is at the far right end. And right now we're on the 15-minute chart. We go to the daily chart and do the same exact thing. So let's say we are over here. Well, if we right click and then reset, well, now the price that it is currently at is at the far right, and then we could scroll to get a better, bigger picture of the markets. Now, if you want to have multiple charts on your screen at the same time, which is available on the paid plans, you could click this layout button right here, and that will give you the option to have one chart, two charts, either horizontal or diagonal, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, however many charts you really want. It could get pretty cluttered after a while, but for example, this will be a 2-chart layout. So let's say you have Ethereum USD on one chart. So we'll just put this right there. And then you could have Ethereum against Bitcoin on another chart. And you could have that right there. And you could see the differences between both of them. And so on this one, it looks like Ethereum is going up on the USD chart, and it is outperforming Bitcoin and going higher than Bitcoin on the Ethereum against Bitcoin chart as well. If you don't have a paid plan, what you could do is you could just have your one chart up on one browser such as Chrome, and then you could open up another browser such as Brave, and then just log in and put them side by side, and you'll be able to have two different charts that way. And if you click the 3-chart layout, you could have the daily, the 4-hour, and the 1-hour all up at the same time. And you could look at it and try to find different fractals within fractals. So that's sort of something cool that you could do when looking at this. So for instance, right here, this big red candle on the daily, it's just one red candle. However, you could see that the cursor lines up on the 4-hour chart right there and on the 1-hour chart right there. So on the daily, it's simply one down candle. On the 4-hour chart, it's a down followed by a up, followed by a down, followed by some consolidation, and that's on the 4-hour. So it's basically down, up, down. On the 1-hour, it's down, up, and then down again. And this was just one day's move, as you could see from the cursor on the 1-day chart. So this could be a good way to familiarize yourself with the different fractals that happen within the different charts on the different time frames. Now, if you have two charts open at the same time, then you could do something called sync in layout, where you could sync the symbol or the time or the interval, whatever you want. And for instance, right now we have Ethereum Bitcoin on the daily, and then we have Ethereum Bitcoin on the 4-hour chart. So if we have the time synced up along with the symbol and crosshair, you can see on the left-hand side where my mouse cursor is, the daily candle is pretty significant and it goes up, and that accounts for one whole day. And then on the right-hand side, these are the candles that happened within this 1-day candlestick on the left-hand side. And so if we look on the left-hand side at this daily candle on July 21st, it matches up on the right-hand side right here, July 21st, 0000, which you could see at the bottom. So this candle right here started right here, and the crosshairs and the cursors line up exactly. And for 4 hours, 4 times 6 is 24, which is 1 full day. So if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, this will be the start of the next day. So this candle right here on the 4-hour chart is the start of this candle right here on the daily chart. And so if you move the daily chart to somewhere else, you could see that it actually jumps on the 4-hour chart to match up with it. And you just have to see where the cursor aligns to make sure that both charts are actually in sync. Of course, if you have these open in different windows, it's not going to work. But if you have the paid plan, you could do this. Now let's talk about the drawing tools on the left-hand side of the Tradingview terminal. So right here we have the crosshair, and that just determines what type of crosshair you want. You could have it be a dot, you could have it be an arrow like this, and then you could have an eraser. And the eraser could come in handy if, for instance, you draw something and you want to erase it. You could just use the eraser tool, and there you go, it's gone. So if you draw that, have the eraser, you could just click on it. However, if you draw something, it's probably a lot easier to simply just click it and then click that, or simply just click it and click delete. That's probably a lot easier than just coming up here, clicking the eraser tool, going to it, etc., etc. So usually I just have mine on the crosshairs. Underneath the crosshair, you have the Trendline tools, and see there are trend lines, arrows, rays, and all of the different lines that you want. So I really like using trend lines. I also like the ray tool, but the best one by far is the horizontal line, which you could also see there is a shortcut for. So if you want to use the horizontal line, you simply click that button, and then you could find a support and resistance zone. So we'll just call this a very big support and resistance, and you draw your line out. You can also hover over the different areas and click Alt-H, and that will bring up the horizontal line tool so that you don't have to go in and click it. And you can also add any of these things to your favorites tabs. You could see there are stars right here. And if you click the favorites, it will come up with this thing right here, and you will be able to add or subtract different tools to your tool belt to be able to have easy access to it. So let's say you forget that Alt-H is what you press to get the horizontal line tool. Well, if you have it on your favorites tab, you could simply click it right there, and it takes 1 second. Same thing for instance, the trend line. If you want to draw a trend line, you could just click it on your favorites toolbar and get it very easy. This makes it so much easier than to have to come in here, find it, and then click it, and then go to the chart and do it. You could simply just have it on your favorites toolbar, which is a great time saver. Underneath the line tools, you'll see the Fibonacci and the Gann tools. So we have Fibonacci retracements, trend-based Fibonacci extensions, pitchforks, the different Gann tools such as the Gann box, the Gann fan, and many other Fibonacci tools for your liking. Personally, the Fibonacci retracement is a must, and that's why I have this favorited. And you can also use the shortcut Alt-F and then drop and drag, or like I said, put it in your toolbar so you could have very quick access to it. Bottom, top, 50%, boom. And that is the Fibonacci right here. And after you use whatever specific tool you use within the specific area, so for instance, the line area or the Fibonacci area, the last one that you used will show up here. So if I simply just delete these right here, you can see that the last line tool I used was the ray. But if I click on the horizontal toolbar and I place it on the chart, now the last one that I use is the horizontal line, and that's why it shows up here. Underneath the Fibonacci and Gann, there is the brush tool and geometric shapes. So obviously you have the brush, you have a highlighter, then you have rectangles, circles, ellipses, also the path tool, which I really like, and the rotated rectangle. So I like using these to basically determine different support and resistance zones. So you could draw a rectangle tool around areas of interest, And if you double click it, you could change the style, and you could put the style to whatever you want. So let's say that this is a resistance. Maybe you want the resistance to be red. You click OK. And just like the other settings, you can also save this setting as a template. So if you click template down here, you could see that I have many different templates. So you could save this one as red, and that's what I did. So I click red and OK, and that makes it so much easier than having to go in and then say you want to make one that's green. Well, first you would have to make the rectangle, and then you'd have to double click it, and then you'd have to change this to green, and then you'd have to change this to green, and you'd have to make sure the background was good and all of that, right? Well, that is a lot of steps. However, if you have the green, you could double click it, or you could right click it and click on settings and then click on template, save as, and save it as green, which is what I did, or you could save it as support. And then when you click that, it's green. So for instance, let's say that you want to have this orange. Well, all you need to do is make a template that it's orange, and then you could just save it. And then when you draw the rectangle, you just right click it and click orange, and you could have different colors. So saving these rectangles as different templates is super, super helpful and saves a lot of time in your charting. Underneath the rectangle box, or the geometrical shape box, and the brush tool, we have the text box, which is great because you could always add a ton of text to your charts, which could come in extremely handy, especially when you're first learning how to trade, because you could click the text icon right there, and then you could place it on the chart, and you could say, okay, this is coming into a big resistance, and then you could say want to sell 50% here, or whatever your game plan is. That's what I typically like to do. There's also the option to have a text wrap or not a text wrap. If the text wrap is on, then you can go like this and just make it a little bit more concise. Or if the text wrap is off, you could click it and it'll just be the most confined that it could be. Put this over here, bring this out, make it red. Now you know when the price comes back into here, you could sell, or you could look for a different price action that will provide more confluence to what you actually wrote down. And of course, you could write down whatever you want. And there are a lot of other different things that you could use here, which are really, really nice, including the image tab. So if you click image, you could actually choose an image to put onto your chart, which is awesome. And there's actually an even faster way to get images on your charts, which is simply to copy and paste the image. So if I go to Google Images, I could simply just copy image and then go back to my chart, paste, and now I have the image that I wanted on my chart. And I could use that image however I want within my chart. And you'll also see within this image, you'll also be able to get tweets. So you could insert a link to the tweet by clicking that. But there's an even easier way to do it. So if you go to Twitter, and this is my Twitter at Louis Raskin, give me a follow. If you're enjoying this video, you could click share, copy link to tweet, go back here, and then simply click paste. And this tells you exactly when you posted whatever tweet you copy and pasted. And so this is a really, really cool feature because it lets you see what people on Twitter are saying and if they are accurate, or if they're just making stuff up, or if they're saying, oh, something's going to go to the moon every single time it pumps, and then they say, oh, it's going to zero every single time something goes down. So that is a very, very cool feature that I know a lot of people like to use. And so going back to the different tools that you could use, underneath the social and the text icon, there is the patterns toolbox. So this pattern is great for people who like to use patterns. I know a lot of people who do use different patterns. I really like the Elliott wave. I've used this successfully. Some people don't like Elliott waves, but this is where you will find the Elliott waves. You'll also find ABCD and pretty much all of the other patterns. I know that the head and shoulders is very popular. So this is where you'll find all of the different patterns, and you could do something like this and then create a head and shoulders and basically make patterns stand out a little bit more clear on your charts. And then underneath that, we have the predictions and measurement tools, which are great for showing long positions, short positions, forecasts, date ranges, and changes in prices. So this is a must-have. Of course, if you're putting on a long position, you would click the long position tool and, for instance, put it where you want to put it, enter your trade. You would map out your stop loss, you would map out your take profit, and this will be your long position. Same thing goes for short positions. So if you click the tool and you go to short position, or if you click it within your favorites toolbox down here, you can put on a short position and you could have everything set up for you before you even put anything into your brokerage account. You could put the exact trade setup on the charts by using the long position and short position tools right here within the prediction and measurement tools section. Additionally, if you want to see a price range, you click date and price range and, for instance, go from the top to the bottom and say, okay, this fell 45%. Or if you're trying to find out the change in price from one date to another date, you could use the same tool and then go from whatever date you want to the date that you are looking at and see the price change from there. So this is another extremely useful tool that I use all of the time. And if you want to copy different bars, you could use the bars pattern tool. So for instance, if you want to copy this fractal right here, you would use the bars tool from one end to the next, and it gives you an exact copy, and then you could lay it over whatever you want. This is great if you see something happening that is very, very similar to what happened previously, and you want to line it up to see just how accurate one fractal is compared to something else that happened previous in time. And that could help forecast what you think might happen in the future. Finally, there's the icons tool, which gives you a vast array of different icons that you could use to put on the chart and resize. So for instance, let's say that we're going to the moon. Well, you could put a rocket ship on there and then resize it to make it huge and double click it. Of course, you need to make this green and we're going to the moon, right? Or maybe you just want to have X marks the spot, or you want to say if it goes up here, this is where your stop's going to be, something like that. You saw there was a whole host of different icons, so you could really just make it your own and figure out something unique to you. Now, let's say that you drew a bunch of stuff and you don't really want it on the screen. Well, there is the undo button right over here that will undo the last action that you performed. So right now, you can see that I moved the price scale. If I click undo, it'll go back to where I was previously. Before that, I moved this around. So if I keep on pressing the back button, eventually it will remove everything that I put on the screen. And if you want it back, you simply click the redo button. And the shortcut for the undo is the same for undo for pretty much everything, which is Command Z. So if you click Command Z on your keyboard, you can see that it undoes whatever you just did. Now, every single time you actually put something on the screen, you will get a corresponding menu that pops up that lets you customize it. So for instance, if I use the horizontal line tool and I put it on the screen, you'll see that this popped up and this will let me customize it. So I could either use this, or if I double click it, I could customize it this way. And if I exit out of that menu and I have this highlighted, then this menu will still be on the screen for me to do whatever I want with it. So I could change the color, I could change the thickness, I could change the style, or I could go into the settings just like I was before. Or I could put an alert on this particular tool. And we're going to be going into alerts very shortly. Also, I could lock it. And then there's also more things such as cloning it, copying it, or having the visual order bring to front or bringing to back. And if I put my rectangle box on it again, what I typically like to do is click my rectangular box, and you could see that this comes up. And I could click more, visual order, bring to front, bring to back, etc., etc. Or if I right click it, I'll get those same options right here, and then I'll just click visual order and send to back. And then when I click out of it, you can see that the chart is actually above or in front of the big rectangle. And so that makes sure that the bars on your chart are always in the forefront of your chart, which is typically what you want. Now, if you want to move these drawings, you could simply just move them like this, as long as the lock tool up here is not clicked. So if I click the lock tool now, my line will not move. But if I unclick it, then it will move. And if I want to lock all of my drawings, then on the left-hand side right here, lock all drawing tools, click that button, and now I cannot move any of the tools that I drew. And to unlock them, you simply click the padlock icon again, and now you can see that it is available to move. And if you really drew up your chart and you have a lot of different drawings on it and you want to clean it up, for example, you could click this button right here, which is the eyeball that says hide all drawings, indicators, positions, and orders. And that will give you a blank chart. Or if you click it again, it'll come back. You could also choose to simply just hide the drawings or simply hide the indicators if you have indicators on the chart, or positions and orders if you have positions and orders on the chart as well. You could also permanently remove all of the drawings on the chart by right-clicking and going down to remove drawings, clicking that button, and now you don't have any drawings on your chart. And if you want the drawings back, you could simply click the undo button until you get them back. If you want to continue to draw and not have to go back and continue to click the drawing tool every single time, you can click this button, which is stay in drawing mode. So for instance, if I click the horizontal line tool and then put it on the chart and I want to have another horizontal line tool, I would click it again and then find out the next places that I want to put it. However, if we remove the drawings and then click stay in drawing mode down here, I could click the horizontal line tool right there, right there, right there, and I don't have to continually go back, click it, go back, click it, etc., etc., etc. And to get back to the normal way of charting, you just click that button again, and now it's back to the way that it was before. So let me clean this up by removing all of the drawings. Continuing on the left side of the toolbar, we have the measurement tool. So if you click that, then what you could do is you can measure from one point to another point in time, the difference, and what you'll see is the absolute value that it actually went up or down, the percentage gain or loss from one point to the other point, and then the number of ticks that it went down. So basically the absolute value, but just without any decimals. It also shows how many bars and the time frame. So we're on the daily time frame. So it's 141 days between this point and this point, along with the total volume for the price action measured. And now this is very, very similar to the date and price range tool that we used before. However, you'll see if you click off of it, then the measurement tool disappears. You could also click shift, and that will bring up this measuring tool very, very, very quickly for you. But once again, when you click off of it, it goes away. But if you click the date and price range tool from one point to another point, and then you click off of it, the date and price range tool stays on the screen and it has all of the relevant information that you need. So that is the difference between the date and price range tool and the measurement tool. The measurement tool is very quickly something that you could use just to determine a few things that you want to see. And you could also have the shortcut of using shift and then dragging to wherever you want. And then when you click off of it, it goes off. And then to get rid of this, you just click it and click delete. Now, there is a tool called the magnet tool, which helps to make sure that the cursor will snap to whatever point the cursor is looking at when you are trying to plot something. So that is right here. This is the magnet tool. It's very, very useful. So for instance, if you want to draw the Fibonacci from this bottom to this top up here, if you do not have the magnet tool on, you would draw it like that and then bring it back up or bring it all the way up to here, and you would get these different numbers. However, it's not 100% accurate to the chart. If you have the magnet tool on, then it will snap. You could see that it's snapping to every single candle that I point my cursor at. So it would snap to the bottom of this candle, the exact position, and it will snap to this exact top position up here, and that's what you want when trading. Same thing when it comes to the horizontal line tool. For instance, you probably want this exact bottom, so you could click this and boom, now you have the exact bottom because it snapped in because you used the magnet. And sometimes the magnet does get annoying, especially if you're trying to do something such as draw a rectangle or something like that. So you could do this, or you could have the magnet tool off and simply just draw it exactly how you want it, because this time it's not snapping to the tops or the bottoms of any of the candles, which makes it a lot easier. So definitely use the magnet tool when necessary. Now within the magnet, there are two settings. There is the weak magnet and the strong magnet. If you have the strong magnet on, then the cursor will automatically go to the top or the bottom to whatever candlestick the cursor is vertically aligned with at the time. So you could see that if I click right there, even though my cursor was up high, it still put the horizontal align tool on there. Or there's also the weak magnet, which only snaps if you are close. So for instance, this time my cursor is up here, so I'm not close, and the horizontal line tool goes up there. However, if I get close, then it snaps, and then I could do it. I personally like the weak magnet a lot more than the strong magnet, or no magnet at all. There's also a shortcut that you could use for the magnet. So if you're going to draw something and you want to use the magnet, you could click on the command button on your keyboard, and the strong magnet will automatically be put onto your screen. So for instance, if I click the command button right here, the magnet goes exactly to where I want it to be. So this can save you some time if you don't want to constantly click the magnet and then unclick the magnets, etc., etc. You could simply just have it always unclick, and then when you want to use the magnet, you could click the command button and it will automatically have the magnet be turned on for you. Now you can also choose what time frames the different drawings you have plotted on your chart show up on. So for instance, if you go down to the 1 hour chart and you plot a horizontal level, maybe you don't want this to show up on the daily chart, so you can double click it, click visibility, and you can unclick days, weeks, months, etc., because this probably has no relevance on the daily chart. So this one is on the hourly chart, while this one is on the daily chart. And when I click the daily chart, only the daily horizontal line shows up. However, if I go back down to the hourly chart, now we have the hourly line showing up as well. And that covers all of the different tools on the left-hand side. The only thing that I maybe did not cover was this button right here, which is the trash can, which removes all of the objects on the screen. So you could choose if you want to remove drawings or indicators, and in this case I only have these two drawings, so I'll just remove those. Or you could right click and click remove drawings or remove indicators. And then finally you have the favorites toolbar. So if you do not have this, down here you can click this button and this will make it appear or disappear, and that is how you get to your favorites toolbar. And now let's move on to adding indicators to your chart. So to add indicators to your chart, what you want to do is click the indicators, metrics, and strategies button right here, and that will bring up all of the different indicators that you could use. Personally, I have a lot of favorites already, but if you click technicals, you could go into indicators, strategies, volume profile, candlestick patterns, etc. And so if you want a particular indicator, you could simply search for it. So let's say that you want moving averages, you could type in moving average and it comes up, or you could simply type in MA and that should come up under technicals. And when you click it, you'll get the moving average up on your screen, up on your chart. And this is where your indicators will pop up. And just like most things on TradingView, the settings of all of these things can be edited. And all you need to do is go up here and click this settings icon, which brings up the options, or you can click it, double click it, and that will bring up the settings icon as well. So maybe you want to change this to yellow to make it a little bit more easier to read. And maybe you want to put the input at 200. So you could see the 200-day moving average, which is a significant moving average. And so that's how you change the settings for the different indicators. Going back to the indicators screen, if you click on technicals, this is where you'll find most of the average technical indicators that most people tend to use, such as the moving averages. If we go down here, moving averages right there. But if you don't see it in here, you could always just type it in the search bar. And for instance, RSI, relative strength index, okay, click that. And now you have the relative strength index. And so you could see that some indicators show up on the chart and some indicators show up underneath the chart. And the indicators that show up underneath the chart do not show up on the top left-hand side of the screen because they show up right here. And if you have indicators on the lower portion of your chart, you can move them up or down like this to take up more or less space. And if you do not want them, you can double click on the chart itself. And now you just have the price action without the indicators underneath of your chart. You still have the indicators that are laid upon your chart, but they are not underneath. If you double click your chart again anywhere, the indicators that are underneath your chart will show up and you'll be able to see them once again. You can move the indicators that are underneath your chart to be on top of your chart by clicking them and then dragging them on top of your chart. But obviously that looks dumb and it's extremely messy. So to undo that, you could either click the undo button or click Command Z and it goes back down. Going back to the indicators tab, you could also see that there were candlestick patterns. And if you click all candlestick patterns, you could see that they show up on your chart with the relevant information. And this would be really good if you're learning how to trade and you want to learn about candlestick patterns. It gives you a nice little description at all of these different points whenever the candle actually happens. So that's pretty cool. Going back to the indicators tab again, underneath community scripts, you could see that there are a lot of different people within the community that make their own scripts. And this is really, really good because some of these scripts actually have a lot of indicators in them as one indicator. And so for example, right now we have the moving average on our chart, and that is one indicator. But if you actually go and you find someone who created multiple moving averages in one indicator, then you could use that, and that will enable you to have one indicator on your chart that actually acts as multiple indicators. So we have the moving average already on our chart. Now let's put on the exponential moving averages. And let's say that we want the 9 EMA and the 18 EMA plus the 200 moving average. Well, now we have two exponential moving averages and one moving average. So then we would have to go in here and we would have to change the settings from 9 to 18. And the other one was already 9. So we could change this to red, and it could just become a lot of indicators on the left-hand side. However, if you find something such as Andre's 8 EMA plus 8 MA plus BB, all of this, you could click on that and then double click on that to get the settings. And now you have one indicator with multiple different indicators within them, such as all of these 8 different exponential moving averages, and then all of these moving averages, along with Bollinger Bands and the Ichimoku Cloud if you want it. And so this could come in handy if you're limited to only a few indicators, but you want more. Now you could see that this takes up a lot of the screen and it does not look good. So what I would do is I would click this button, and now the indicators are not shown in the top left-hand side. And if you want all of the indicators off of your screen, you just right click and remove indicators and you're back to a blank chart. Now, let's say that you have different indicators and you really like the way that the indicators are set up. So for instance, you have a RSI and you have a stochastic RSI and you have the MACD and you have the moving average. So let's just put the moving average on here as well. And you have these 3 different indicators plus the moving average indicator, and you want to continually to use this as a template. Well, you could do that. Before I do that though, I do want to mention that just like how I mentioned you could put your indicators on top of the chart, you could also put your indicators on top of each other. So I could click the RSI and I could bring it on top of the stochastic RSI, and that just makes things seem a little bit more clean. Now let's say that I really like this setup. Well, what I could do is I could click indicator templates right there, and I could save this template as an indicator template. So if I click on that, then I could say RSI, Stoch RSI, MACD, and moving average. And then I could click save. And now I have this template for whenever I want all of my indicators. So if I remove all of the indicators and I start a new chart or I have something new and I want my old one back, I simply come up here to my saved indicators and I could click that, and boom, all of my indicators that I previously had on the screen are back up. And this is great because you could customize all of these indicators to your liking, including the color schemes, the length of each indicator, and whatever you want, and then save it as a template. And that way you won't have to go back and redo it every single time. And you can also add your templates to a favorites tab by going to your templates and clicking the star icon, and then you will see that it comes up right here next to the indicator templates. And that way, if you don't have anything on your chart and you want to get all of your indicators up and running just like that, how you normally do, boom, click that, and it's just easier and faster. And if you no longer want to use your indicator template, you simply click the button and then go and click this X and remove it from your templates. Now let's talk about how to screenshot and share your charts. Let's say that you did analysis on a chart. So for instance, you put a horizontal line here, you put a trend line right here, and you have a long position that you want to open right here with a stop loss underneath the low, and you're targeting right there. And you want to share this to either yourself, others, Twitter, Discord, or somewhere else. There are a few options on how you could do that. Firstly, if you want to take a screenshot or a snapshot, you click this camera icon right there, and it'll give you the option to save your chart image, copy chart image, copy a link to the chart, open image in a new tab, or tweet the chart image. If you save the chart image, it will get saved to your computer. If you copy it, that makes it easy to simply paste it somewhere else. For instance, Twitter. So if I go into my Twitter and I click create a new tweet, I could simply paste the image in here and I could say whatever I want. So I'll say, what do you think? Tweet, and there you go. Now we have an image from your chart into your Twitter account. Personally, I like doing it this way better than the tweet chart image option in Tradingview, which when you click that gives you this, because it doesn't put the actual picture on the tweet. It simply just gives you a URL for people to click. Now, when it comes to sharing charts, one feature that I really like is the publish feature, which is up here and allows you to share your idea with the trade community. So let's say that you have this trade idea. If you click publish, you can click publish idea, and then this was Bitcoin. So I usually just put BTC, and then whatever you want over here, right? And let's say you tag it as BTC and then click publish private idea. Well, that brings you to a new page, which will have this play option. And so if you copy and paste the URL for this particular page, then you can look back at that URL, press the play button, and see exactly what played out. I just made this right now, so of course nothing is going to be played out, but if you have one from the past, you could press the play button and see what happened. And so as an example, I have a trade that I put on using this feature, which was Rose Network, and if you press the play button, you could see what happened after I put the trade on. And you can see that the price came down to the entry and is on the way up. And so, yeah, this worked out great, but this feature in and of itself is really good because it allows you to go back and see if the trade actually worked or if the trade didn't work, and what happened with the price action on that actual trade and what you could have possibly done differently. So I love the publish feature that is offered in Tradingview. Now, Tradingview allows you to actually trade directly from the platform by connecting it to your broker. If you want to do that, you could click the trading panel at the bottom of your screen and then choose your broker and log into your account, and that will bring up new options within Tradingview. So as you can see, there are a lot of different brokers for Forex, for stocks, for crypto. There's Gemini, there's FTX, there's Bitstamp, and many others. If your broker isn't listed in the Tradingview panel, then you won't be able to actually connect to it. But if it is, then it's very easy. You would simply just click connect and then follow the instructions in order to connect your account to Tradingview. I don't trade within Tradingview, but the charts that Tradingview offers is superior to what most brokers offer. And also the fact that you could save your templates, you could have watch lists, and you could do so much more within Tradingview is why I use Tradingview. And then I'll go into my trading software to actually put on my trades. If you want to practice your trading using a paper trading account, you can do that with Tradingview by clicking the button at the bottom and then clicking the paper trading account right here. And then you could simply connect a paper trading account and trade through Tradingview this way. And this will let you practice buying and selling securities and cryptocurrencies in the same way that you would with a real account, but with no risk of losing money. For example purposes, we'll connect this paper trading account, and now you can easily switch between your brokers or log out of this menu, and you will see all of the different trades. And now we could go into how to actually trade using Tradingview. Now, if we bring this down, we could get a little bit better visualization. And if we want to make a trade, then on the right-hand side, you could click this order panel, and the order panel comes up, of which you'll be able to put in your buy or your sell. So let's say you want to buy, and you want to buy at 22,251, and you want your take profit to be at 28,095, and your stop loss to be at 20,617. Well, you could do that. And if we go to the daily, buy, click that button, boom, now your order is set. Another way to place an order is to right click on the chart, click trade, and then you could either buy or sell using this method, and it will buy or sell the same amount that you did previously. So last time I used 1 unit, and so now this has 1 unit as the buy or the sell. Depending on where you click, that will be the price that comes up. So if I want to say buy 1 BTC here or sell 1 BTC here or create new order, then the order is at 22,840 because that's where my cursor was at the time. So right now my cursor is at 22,742. If I click trade, you could see it's at this price. So if I click create new order, it's at that price. And then I could just put in all the information right there. If of course you use a market order, then it will immediately buy at whatever market price it is at currently. So if I do that and I put in buy 1 BTC right here, now you could see that the order was placed and the order was executed and the order was modified so that I would sell it after it was already executed. And down here is where you will have all of the information relevant to the trade that you are currently in. Additionally, you could see a little blue arrow pointing out that you bought right there. And not only that, but you also have your previous limit buy that is still on as you never deleted the position after you put it on. So now you're in one position and you have a limit position in as well. You could also see the orders that you put in that have not yet been hit yet by clicking the orders tab. And if we just bring this up a little bit, you can see that there is a buy limit, which is right there, and that's your buy limit order. You also have your sell limit order for the current market order that you just put in. And then there's inactive orders because they have not yet been put in, and they're waiting for the first part of the order to be put in. And so this right here is the stop limit order for the buy limit order that has yet to be hit. And that's why this is inactive. Once the buy limit order gets hit, then this will become working. And this right here is the take profit for that same order. Because your entry has not been hit and you have not entered the trade yet, this is inactive. But once the trade actually gets entered, then these will become working. If you want to modify a trade, such as the limit buy order that you put in earlier, you can right click it and click modify. And this will allow you to modify the take profit, the stop loss, and anything else that you want. You could also modify it by going down here. And this was the market long that we put in just a few minutes ago. And if we click that button, you can modify the different aspects of that position by going here. To manually close a trade, you could simply just go into your brokers tab and click close, and this will close the position. And there's also the option to partially close the position if you only want to close off, say, half of your position or the entire position. So we're going to close this entire position off right now. You could see that it was closed, and now we have 0 positions open, but we still have our other orders for our limit buy and take profit and stop loss. And if we want to cancel all of those, we would simply click the cancel order button at the X next to each corresponding order. So if we click that, are you sure you want to cancel this bracket? Yes. And you could see that that canceled the take profit. However, it did not cancel the limit buy or the stop loss. But if we cancel the limit buy, then that cancels everything because there is no stop loss and there is no take profit if there's no buy. To view your past trades, you could go into history and you could see everything that happened. You could also just filter it by filled, canceled, rejected, etc., etc. And you could also see the account history, your profit, your loss, etc. And there's a trading journal with more information. Like I mentioned, I like using other softwares for this type of stuff. Tradingview is amazing when it comes to actually charting and analyzing coins and analyzing stocks. However, I like dedicated journals and dedicated trading softwares for my journaling and for my trading. So now let's get rid of this and let's talk about something that I absolutely love Tradingview for, which is their alerts. So let's say that you plotted this out and you see that this is a very nice and respected trend line and you want to know when the price comes back down there. Well, you could set alerts so that you are notified when the price hits here and then you could put on a trade. To do that, you could simply right click on the actual tool itself. And so in this case, you're right clicking on the trend line and you could see the very first thing is add alert on trend line. So you could click that button. And then it says condition BTC USD. That is what we are looking at when it is crossing the trend line. So once it crosses the trend line, and you could choose only once per bar close, or once per minute if you want to get constantly updated about it. So we'll just click only once. You could choose to have this be open-ended, or if you're thinking that by the time October comes around, this doesn't matter, you could actually say that if October 1st comes and this has not been hit, then it will simply expire. And that's good if you put on a lot of alerts and you're limited in the amount of alerts that you have. Now, because I right-clicked on the trend line itself and chose add alert on the trend line, these auto-populated because it's just assuming that I want to know when Bitcoin crosses the trend line. However, you could put many different indicators on. So if I exit this out and let's say that I right click on the chart just randomly, I could click add alert at this price. And now it says condition when Bitcoin crosses this value, 27,000. So once Bitcoin comes up here, I will get an alert. However, if you click this button, you could see that there are many different indicators that you could choose from. And many of these don't have to do with the actual price of wherever you put on the chart. So you could say move up percentage. So if Bitcoin moves up, let's say 10% in 3 bars, and we're on the daily candle. So if it moves up 10%, no, actually, let's just say 10% in 1 bar. So if it moves up 10% in 1 day, I want to be notified. And so I could put this as my notification and I could have this alert notify me on the Tradingview app itself, show a pop-up, send me an email, and I could even set this up via a webhook very easily to be put into Discord, Telegram, or other social networks. Additionally, under more actions, you could choose to have different sounds and you could choose how long they actually play for, once, 5 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, etc., etc. And through the email webhook URL, or send email to SMS, you could also set this up so that you get notified on your cell phone through a text message. And so there are a lot of things that you could do with alerts. And the alerts are, in my opinion, the most biggest and crucial and important part of Tradingview, or at least one of them. So for instance, if we have the crossing $27,000 and we create this alert, let's say we create this alert as well. Now you could see that an orange line, an orange dotted line comes up on this chart. So this is the Bitcoin US dollar chart on Bitstamp, and it's on the daily time frame, even on the 4-hour or the 12-hour, it doesn't matter. The alert will still go off as soon as Bitcoin reaches that price and crosses over that price. Now, to get rid of the alerts, you can simply double click it and click delete, or you can right click it and click edit or remove or stop. So I'll just remove this right here. and now the alert is gone. And you can set alerts not just on the actual price itself, but you could also set alerts on indicators. So if we go back up to the indicators chart and we have a moving average, and let's just say that we add the moving average to our chart, and then let's double click that, turn it yellow to make it a little bit more noticeable, and let's turn this to the 24 moving average. What we could do is we can either right click on this and click add alert on moving average. And if we click that, now we have the condition moving average. And we could say once the moving average crosses over or under a certain value, then an alert will go off. Or we could have all of these other options for the moving average itself. Or if we have another indicator, we could customize it even more. So for this instance, the moving average, once the moving average reaches, let's say 22,500, we click create. Now an alert will go off once this moving average comes back down and touches 22,500. And if we don't want that anymore, we could simply click stop or remove. And if we want the price to come down and have an alert when the price comes down and hits the moving average, then we could right click on the chart, click add alert, and then BTC USD crossing. And instead of just the value, now because we have the indicator on the chart, we could choose the indicator from the dropdown. So now we have the moving average. So when Bitcoin crossing the moving average, aka the MA, we will get alerted and we can create this alert. And so if the price of Bitcoin comes back down, now it gets to be alerted. And in more advanced tutorials, I talk about how you can actually create not just alerts, but actual buy and sell orders based on if the price comes down to an indicator or to a drawing or whatever you want on the actual chart. And so those were some examples of alerts. And we could even do this and say, let's add the exponential moving average in here. And let's turn this, let's put this at the 55 and let's put this as white. Okay, so now we have the exponential moving average and we have the regular moving average. If we add an alert by right clicking and saying add alert, then we could click on the condition and we could click EMA crossing and then the value MA. So now when the EMA 55 crosses the MA 24, we will get an alert. And that is how you can create an alert even on the indicators themselves. So it's not even about the price at this point, it's about the indicators. Once this indicator falls down and crosses this indicator, we will get an alert. So you could see just how powerful alerts can be, and you could automate these alerts as well. And as another example, let's add the RSI. Okay, so we have the relative strength index. You could add alerts on the relative strength index or on any indicator you want as well. So if we go down here and say, okay, right click, add alert on RSI, when the RSI crosses, and let's say it crosses 30, then we will be alerted because now we will know when it crosses the oversold territory, and that could be an indication that we want to get in. So I'll click create, and now you'll see that an orange alert line pops up on the screen to let you know that once the RSI comes down below 30, you will get alerted. And that's usually a good time to buy. As you can see back here, this is when it was below 30 and it was in this entire area, which is now, of course, above. So you could really let your imagination go wild when it comes to what alerts you choose to put on in TradingView. And to see your alerts, you could go right here to the alerts tab and you could click this, and now you'll see the relative strength index. Once it crosses the 30 line, which is what we just put on, that is up under your alerts tab. Same thing with the moving average exponential. Once the moving average exponential crosses the other moving average, then the alert will go off. And we also have the alert that we put on before that, which is saying that when Bitcoin crosses the moving average, then we want to get alerted. And for each of these, there's a description which you could see right over here. It says moving average exponential 55, close 0, SMA 5, crossing, moving average, gives you the description, active, etc., etc. So if you want to change the description, if we go back into where you edit the actual alert, you could go down and under message, you could change it to whatever you want. So let's just say relative strength index 14 crossing 30 oversold on Bitcoin may be a good buying opportunity. Okay, then you save that. Now, once the relative strength index falls and goes into the oversold territory, you will get an alert, and that is what will come up. And so you can change the description on all of the alerts to be exactly what you want. Underneath the active alerts, you'll see the alerts log, which tells you the different alerts that went off previously and the date that it actually went off. And if you click on them, so for instance, I'll click on this alert, it brings you to the chart of where the alert was set. So on this alert, it was for near protocol, and I said it was hitting major resistance. So when I click it, now we're in the near perpetual futures chart, and we could see what happened. So it was there and it went down, and now it's sort of consolidating. And so this is how you see what alerts previously went off. And if you want to go back to the alerts that have yet to been activated, you could just click on them and it brings you to the actual chart of where you put the alert on. And so those are the alerts. And like I said, there are many, many ways to use alerts. I use alerts to notify everyone in my Discord group exactly when I get into different coins and when big things happen in the market, so that I can stay abreast of what's going on without having to actually be in front of my computer and watching everything exactly. So for instance, in this case, once Bitcoin comes up here, I'm going to set an alert and I'll say something like, good time to start taking profits, hitting resistance, etc., etc., etc. And then I set that up with a webhook to be put over to Discord, Telegram, and any other places that I wanted to go to. Now, if you go back to the alerts tab right here, you can actually filter it by clicking the little 3 dots and seeing filter alerts. And if you want to just see the alerts that you have on the current symbol, you could click this button. Or if that's unchecked, it brings up all of your different symbols. There's also the current time interval. So this is the daily time interval. If I click that, then it brings up all of your alerts on all time intervals. And you could also show your alerts by the different price, drawings, indicators, strategies, etc., etc., and customize it by name, message, source icon, last triggered, etc., etc. And if you decide that you just want to remove all your alerts or anything like that, you could click all these buttons up here to remove them, remove all the inactive, just stop all of them, or restart all of the inactive ones in case you want to restart them. So that is the alert tab. Very, very, very important thing, an awesome thing that Tradingview offers. And underneath that, we have the news tab. So if you click that, you could see all of the different news that is happening regarding the specific asset and chart that you are currently on. So this is the Bitcoin US dollar cryptocurrency chart. So headlines for the BTC USD, and you'll see a lot of different cryptocurrency, Bitcoin news articles, and basically everything that has to do with crypto. If you click on the article itself, then it brings you to the article within Tradingview. Even though this is on Seeking Alpha, it brings you to it within Tradingview, and then you could read the article there. And if you want to know more, then you could click the button and it'll bring you to the actual website where it took the article from. As you continue to scroll down, more news articles will pop up, although they will become more irrelevant as the time goes by because it is in chronological order with the newest ones coming up first. Underneath the news tab, you have the data window, and if you click that, it brings up a lot of different data depending on where your cursor is pointing. And along with the open, high, low, close, change, and volume of the actual bar that you are pointing to, it also tells you the value of the indicators that you have on the screen as well. So right now we have the RSI on the screen, and you could see that right here, the RSI is 61.47, and the RSI based MA is 46.06. And you could see that right here, or you could see that up here as well. So the data screen yeah, it's cool, but you could get all of this information literally right here, right here, right here, up here. So I don't think that this is necessarily needed, nor really ever useful as its own standalone tab, considering that you get all of the information you need by looking at the chart itself. And so underneath the data window, we have the hot list button. The hot list shows a variety of different watch lists based off of a variety of different factors. So this is the US exchanges, volume gainers, the US exchanges, percent change gainers, and the US exchanges, percent change losers. And you could choose which watch lists are shown by clicking this button up here and going down and choosing whichever one you want. And this is not something that I typically ever use. As I mentioned before, I have my own personal watch list that is specifically for my percent change list that I just click on, and then I click on percent change, and that tells me all of the different cryptocurrencies and their percentage gain and percentage loss, which is great and very useful for me. Underneath the hot list tab, there is the calendar tab, which shows you different major economic activities that are set to happen. These are color coded, either yellow, orange, or red, depending on the impact and importance Tradingview views them as. So orange is medium impact, red is major impact, and yellow is minor impact. And below the economic calendar, you have an earnings calendar, which shows you whatever earnings for whichever place you want to actually view. Right now, it's the NASDAQ, New York Stock Exchange, et cetera, in the USA. And these are the different symbols and the estimated earnings reports that it's supposed to come out. And so underneath the calendars tab, there is the My Ideas tab. So if you click on that, you could see all of the different ideas that you have published. And this is exactly what I was talking about before with the published ideas, where you can click on them and then see what actually ended up happening. And you could filter out the ideas by clicking this button right here. So right now, ideas for the current symbol only, which is Bitcoin US dollar on Bitstamp, are the only ones that I show up. But if I click that button, then all of the different ideas that I put on for all of the different symbols comes up here. And from here, you can scroll back, find different ideas, and then if you click them, you could see actually what ended up panning out and what ended up happening. So Ethereum, July 18th, you click the button and that brings this up. So then you could click the play button and see what actually panned out. Boom, that worked out beautifully. And so the ideas tab is pretty important if you want to go back and find the different ideas that you set out. And underneath that, you have public chats. So if you click that, you could see that right here, there's the cryptocurrency room and there's people that are just chatting about crypto. I literally never use this, but this is funny because it sort of brings me back to the days of the Bitfinex troll box and the BitMEX troll box. So yeah, I never really used these, but there's a lot of different rooms that you could go into. So beginner friendly chat, I don't know, whatever you want. I probably would never really mess with this. And underneath the public chats, you have private chats. And the private chats are simply chats that you could have with other Tradingview users. Personally, this is not something that I really use. Underneath that, we have the ideas stream. And this is where you'll see published ideas by other Tradingview users that you're following. Underneath the ideas stream, you have the streams tool so that you could click this and there are streams. So this is similar to YouTube Live or Twitch or any of the streaming services that you have open. And this is something that's fairly new to Tradingview. And this is actually pretty cool. And I would assume that the people who are on here right now are probably pretty good traders. So maybe looking at different streams could give you different ideas or just different lessons or just be helpful in your trading journey and just to see what other people are doing and to try to get different ideas and see if you can improve in one way or another. And underneath the streaming section, you have notifications, which will show you a list of notifications that are relevant to your account. And if you click this button, you can also have additional notification settings. You could choose what notifications you want to be notified on. Underneath the notifications tab, there is the order panel, which we discussed before. And underneath that, there is the DOM or DOM. And this is literally just like a more complicated order panel, to be honest. You could just simply click limit and basically buy or sell the same exact way that you could do it with the order panel. So I don't really like to use either of these, to be honest. And then underneath all of these, we have the object tree. So let me get rid of this. And the object tree tells you all of the different objects and things that you have on your chart at the current time. So this is the BTC USD chart. It's on Bitstamp. It's on the 1 day. And these are the candlesticks. If you don't want the candlesticks for some reason, you press this button and now you don't have candlesticks. The long position is right here. So you could click that if you want it or if you don't want it. Trend line, horizontal line, etc., etc. So if you want to know what objects are on your chart, or if you want to put the objects on top of different objects or below different objects, you could do that, but this is not something that I typically do. And if you just want to, get rid of some of the objects, you could do it this way and then, click exit right there, or you could simply right click it and remove it, or just click it and then press delete, which is the easiest way. And then underneath that, we have the help center, which of course opens up the help center, and you could get any help for anything that you want on TradingView. Now, TradingView also allows you to add different financial indicators for different stocks. So let's go back to Tesla. And if we click the indicators, metrics, and strategies button, we could go to financials, and this will tell you all of the different financial indicators that you might want for their particular stock. So if you want something such as total revenue, you click that button and it gets brought up underneath the chart. So we have total revenue and maybe cost of goods sold, exit out of there, and you could see the relevant information pops up down here. If we go back up here, you could choose either quarterly, annually, or TTM. And if you have more questions, you could click the question mark and it brings up more information for you there. Now let's remove all these indicators by clicking the remove indicator button and move on to the next thing, which we'll be talking about comparing different charts, one on top of another. And so if you want to compare two different charts, you can click this button up here. Before I do that though, let me go to the USD BTC chart. Okay, and then click this button. And now I could compare another chart on top of Bitcoin. So right now we have BTC. Let's look at the SPX, or the S&P 500, and click that. And you can see that it now pops up on the screen. But obviously it's not exactly what I wanted. So let me click it, press delete, click add again, and this time I'm going to click new price scale. And when I do that, you could see that the price of the S&P 500 is on the left hand side while the price of Bitcoin is on the right hand side. And this helps you see just how correlated the S&P 500 and Bitcoin has been over the past year or so. And so you can adjust the different price scales. And if we click auto fits to screen, bring this down, move this left, move this right. And if you want to change this from a line chart, you could simply double click it, click line, and go to bars or go to candles, whatever. You could click bars and you could change the colors. So we'll change the color scheme just like how we did it in the beginning of the video. Thin bars, not thick bars, either way. And then you can click OK, and now you have the S&P 500 laid on top of Bitcoin. Now let's clean this up by deleting a few things and talk about another incredibly useful tool that TradingView has called the replay tool. So the replay tool is located up here, and this is called the bar replay. If you click it, you could scroll back in time, click wherever you want, and that will delete any future price action that happens after the date of which you selected. You could then make a prediction as to what you think would happen to the price, and then click the replay button to see if you were right or wrong. So if you look at this chart and then you determine that you think that something like this is going to happen, you can draw it out on the actual chart itself, and then you could press the play button and see what actually happened. Now in the toolbar, you could click the play button and obviously it just plays out very quickly. Or if you want to play it out slowly, you could adjust the speed of whatever you want it to be like. I like it to be the fastest it could be. Or if you want to play it out one by one, you could press the forward button right there and it plays out one by one. Or you could double click it like you're in a paintball tournament and you could see how fast you could actually make it go. But anyway, that's the tool for the replay button. And if you want to just jump to somewhere else in time, you just press this button, click it there or click it wherever you want it. And to get rid of all of this, you just click the exit button and it says, are you sure you want to exit replay mode? Because you're currently in chart replay mode. So you click yes, and then it brings you back to where the current price is right now. Now, when it comes to using the replay tool, what I like to do is basically just make the chart super, super thin, bring it up, okay, bring it back, find a random place so I can't see the chart, and then click right there. Then you could click reset chart, which will bring the chart back up on your screen. And then you can plot out what you think the price will do this way and basically test your theories and test your hypothesis and what you would do in this type of situation, right? So this is really, really good for testing different theories and just going back in time, seeing, does it work? Does it work over time? Does it work in different situations? Like, how accurate really are you? Because anyone could use hindsight analysis and say, oh yeah, I knew that the price was going to dip below these lows and then jump all the way up, but not a lot of people can accurately predict things that happen before they actually happen. And so this is a really good way to go back and test your skills, and also to test new theories and new trading strategies and techniques that you're learning. So we'll exit out of this, click yes, and you could see that it keeps your old, oh wow, actually look at how good that actually hit. And so you could see that it keeps the lines that you drew while you were in replay mode, even after you exit out of the replay mode. And so now let's talk about the different shortcuts that TradingView has. So if you click up there on the top left, you could click keyboard shortcuts and it'll tell you all of the different shortcuts for all of the different things that TradingView could do. So if you really want to, master TradingView, the same way how some people like to master Excel, you could look through all of these shortcuts and figure out which ones that you want to use to get down. And that could potentially help save you a lot of time over the long run. The shortcuts that I use the most definitely is the copy paste, along with the clone and drag, the horizontal line tool, horizontal ray tool, Trendline, and then holding down the command button to get the magnet tool on. There's also a desktop app that's available. If you click right here, get desktop app, it'll bring you over to this page, and the TradingView desktop app is the same thing as the web browser, except it's native on an app, and they just say that it's slightly faster. So I don't really see a reason to use the app, but you could read through everything that they have on this page to determine if it's for you or not. Now, let's say that you customize a certain layout to be something that you really like. So for instance, you go into the settings and maybe your body candles are different colors. So we'll change them to different colors like this, and you click OK. And then let's say that you have particular indicators that you really like. So let's say that you like the MACD and you like the RSI and you like the stochastic RSI. So you do this and you have this all set up really, really nicely, just how you like it, right? Well, as explained before, you can save the indicators as an indicator template and save this indicator template like this and say MACD, RSI, color scheme, etc., and you click save. But this isn't actually saving the color scheme or the entire layout in and of itself. It's just saving these indicators. But if you click up here, you could see that there are actually different layouts that you could have. So if you click new layout, it will open up a brand new, completely clean layout for you. And you can go to whatever chart you want. And so let's go to Ethereum USD on FTX. And now this is a completely clean chart layout, and this is unnamed. And this chart layout is in a new tab compared to your old one. This is the old tab. And for this chart layout, I named this chart layout blank, even though it's clearly not blank. This one is unnamed. And so I have different layouts. I have blank, I have market scan, I have PA only. So I have 3 different layouts, but you could actually create a layout. So let's say that this is the layout and you choose Ethereum, USD, long-term chart, monthly chart. You just say, okay, it's going to the moon. It's going up to, $10,000. And maybe you'll use a Fibonacci like this, and you'll say it's going to hit $10,800 in the future because that is the Fibonacci level, right? So you could save this layout and you can rename it as, say, long-term layout, and you could put all of your long-term predictions on this layout. And then if you click the button and you go back to, say, your market scan layout, it'll load up your market scan layout and all of the indicators that you have that you normally use for your market scan. Or you could load your blank layout if you just want to have a blank canvas. And this was what we had previously. And let's say that you create something, and so you're thinking that the price is going to do something like this, okay? And you really want this chart to be seen. Well, what you could do is you could click the sharing button, and if you click that, then everyone with the link can view and copy this chart. And then you could simply copy and paste the link. So in the browser, you have this link. So if you give this link to anyone, then it will give them the chart, which is fine. Although I think that just simply copying the chart image or copying the link to the chart image is good enough, or simply publishing the idea is even better, because then you could press the play button down the line and see if it actually worked out on the chart itself. And so that's different layouts, and I use them personally, some of them for just literally price action only, and then some of them for charts that I use a lot of indicators on. And so that covers everything on the trading page. So let's go to the home page and go over what's available on the actual home page of Tradingview. The reason I saved this for last is honestly because I never come here. This is not something for experienced traders. This is pretty much for people who just want to look and see educational ideas, different pine scripts, and different ideas from the community. But if you're an experienced trader, you don't want to be looking at other people's ideas because you don't know how good these people are or if they're just making stuff up. So just as a quick rundown, at the top, you have the market summary for indices, stocks, crypto, forex, futures, and bonds. So you could basically, let's say you go to crypto, you see the total crypto market cap, you see Bitcoin, and you see Ethereum. So you see the bigger players. So let's click on Ethereum and you can see where it is, and you could scroll through this, but this is all information that you'll get on the chart. The only difference is that if you click on it through the homepage, you will also have ideas, which, like I said, are pretty useless in my opinion if you know what you're doing, because you don't want to convolute your trade ideas with other people's trade ideas. And then they also have technicals, and this also, in my opinion, is pretty useless because a lot of times people will say that it's a sell or a strong sell when really it's a buy. So I can't really vouch for this technical Tradingview indicator right here, whether it says sell or buy, because I don't really know what algorithm they use to come up with this. And underneath that, we have related symbols. So obviously Ethereum against Bitcoin, the euro, and Litecoin, the Japanese yen, the British pound, etc., etc. And then we have the top authors when it comes to ETH USD, so this pair. And then we have a timeline of what people are talking about when it comes to this pair, more ideas on the left-hand side, and more write-ups on the right-hand side. Underneath that, we have breaking news. And if you remember, you could get the news by clicking on this news icon right there, and it gives you all of the news. So you can see flow, derivatives, Ethereum, plunges. So if you're on the pair itself in the chart, you could just click the news if you want the news. And so if we scroll back up, you could see that there's the overview, timeline, news, ideas, technicals, etc., etc., etc. And that's what you get if you click it on the Tradingview homepage, if you actually click one of these different options. Underneath that, we have snaps, which are basically 20 seconds of market digest, just really quick news stories about a lot of different things. So that could be cool. Like if you want to get your news from here, if you don't get your news from other sources, or if you just want to, see what's happening in the market, sure, you could use these snaps, which is great. Obviously, like I said, the ideas, and you could choose what market you want to look at. But like I said, I wouldn't use the ideas tab. And then we have community favorites, educational ideas, pine scripts, and pine scripts could be something that you actually use if you actually understand it. Now, pine scripts are pretty advanced and you can program them. Personally, I use 3 commas and other softwares for my bots, but if you want to, program different things, you could learn how to code and learn pine scripts. There's a lot of educational videos on YouTube about that. Then underneath that, we have streams. I mentioned the streams before. This is a new thing that Tradingview put out where basically people stream the markets just like Twitch, and it seems like a pretty good idea. So I wonder if it's actually going to catch on, and some of these streamers on Tradingview, maybe they could start making a lot of money, just like how people make a lot of money on Twitch. Maybe people on Tradingview streaming their analysis, maybe they could start making a lot of money, who knows. And then underneath that we have the brokers. So if you click on the brokers, you could connect all your brokers. We already went over that in the actual chart section. And then we have US stocks, and so it gives you the highest volume and the unusual volume stocks, along with the gainers and the losers. And then underneath that, we got crypto with the market cap ranking, and then the DeFi by market cap as well. Underneath that, we have more breaking news. So just more news if you want to actually look at it. And then underneath that, we have Sparks, which are curated watch lists to kickstart your market research. And that's the bottom of this. So I'm actually curious, if we click Reddit stocks YOLO, we could see that this is a spark in terms, that's what Tradingview calls it, sparks. And then it gives you little summaries of all of the different Reddit stocks YOLO picks. That's actually pretty funny. So this could give you some, some information about the Reddit stocks and the stuff that's actually, within this spark on Tradingview. So this YOLO account. So that's actually pretty cool. I didn't realize that they had this. But looking at, the different sparks, it seems like something that's not very serious, like famous meme stocks or stonks that only go up apparently, or like Elon Musk stocks, must-haves. So this is something, I don't know, it just seems more entertaining compared to actual, research, analytical stuff like that. I mean, yeah, I guess if you want to know what stocks Elon Musk has, then maybe this could work. But yeah, that's Sparks, probably not something to take too seriously. So that's basically all of the Tradingview home screen. At the top, you can see products. You see it has a heat map. So if you click heat map, you could see all of the different heat maps for stocks, or if you want, you could click on the NASDAQ and you could have the NASDAQ heat map up. Or if you want crypto, you could click heat maps and then crypto, and it gives you the big heat map for crypto, letting you know what the performance is for all of the different coins. And this is by market cap. So if you want a very quick visualization of what's happening in the market, the heat map could actually give you like a very, very quick visualization that you could use in your analysis to say, oh, okay, the market's obviously down today. Let's use that in our analysis now. And you could change the performance by the day or by the 4 hour, or, by the week. You could see the weekly performance is different, or maybe the monthly performance. Ethereum is up for the month while Bitcoin is down for the month. So this gives you a pretty nice perspective of, what's going on the different time frames. And this could definitely be used in analysis. And going back up to products, there's also screeners that you could use, which help you find pretty much anything you want with a simple scan. So if we go to the crypto screener, you can see that you can filter out what you want to look for. So if you only want to look for coins on a certain exchange, so right now I have Binance, but let's say you only want to look for coins on Coinbase, you could just click that, and then it'll screen out only the coins that are on Coinbase. And then if you want a relative strength index, let's say below 30, maybe that's a good buy opportunity for you, then you could do that. And on the right side, there's the actual market cap. So if you want the market cap to be, over $1 million, so you don't want to be dealing with very, very illiquid coins, then you could use this. You could have the volume, same thing with the volume. If you want, liquidity and you want at least, let's say $500,000 in volume, then you could do that. And basically you could just choose whatever parameters you want to look for. And there are so many options. Obviously, I'm not going to go through all of them, but yeah, if you use this, you could use this screener to screen out potential plays. If you want to, trade based off of certain parameters, then you could do that. And you use the screener in order to get the different cryptos or stocks or whatever you're looking at up on the screen so you could actually see them. Going back to the home screen, how I, went through all of these things on the left? Well, you could get all of that stuff, up here. So under community, we have the streams, the trade ideas, the education ideas, and the scripts. So if you don't want to, scroll through and find the educational ideas or the Pine scripts or the streams, streams or anything like that, you could just do that by clicking the community tab and then going to whichever thing you want. And maybe the educational ideas could actually be pretty good. This might actually give you some pretty solid ideas when it comes to the different educational topics, you know, risk management, trading psychology, trading plan. And I'll actually probably take a look at this just to see, you know, if there's anything in here that could be beneficial to me. And so that is the educational ideas. I do like the educational ideas. I think it's pretty good for traders. And then we have the market over here. So like we said before, we have the snaps, the breaking news, the sparks, all of that stuff. So if you want to just click it right here, you can. And then of course there's the different markets that you could click on by just going down to their respective markets. And then if you want to connect your broker, you can, you know, click on the brokers, and then under more, there's the help center for the desktop app. And then if you're a business, it has a lot of different things for businesses. So if you want to reach out for advertising or partner program, maybe I should do that, then you could click on that for business. Also, it gives you some things, you know, just about the company right underneath there as well. And I think that covers literally everything on Tradingview. And I almost forgot to mention, Tradingview does have a referral program. There is something that you could click if you click your profile and go to refer friends. You could see that it has refer a friend right here, where you could get up to $30 for every friend you refer. So you and your friends who's never had a Tradingview account previously all get up to $30 each after they upgrade to a paid plan. So I will post this link in the description below. If you found this video useful and you want to actually upgrade to a Tradingview plan, definitely use that link in the description. It would help me out a ton. And if you upgrade, you could get up to $30. So that would be awesome. And so that link will be in the description. And even if you want to sign up for free, use the link below to sign up for free. And then that way, if you do decide to sign up within 90 days, you and I will be eligible to get the $30. So that would be really, really appreciated. And with saying that, I'm going to wrap this up with my thoughts on the platform itself, just my overall thoughts after using it for a while. I already recorded that, so let's get to that right now. I've used Tradingview and I used a different software as well. I like Tradingview the most, mostly because of the publish feature that it has and how I could pretty easily integrate it into my Discord server and so many other things and set up many things to be automatic. And the fact that pretty much every trading terminal or brokerage or really anything that has to do with the markets uses Tradingview as their trading software. It just makes it more seamless. I will be trying out other charting softwares as well, but for the time being and over the past 4 years plus, I've been using Tradingview, and Tradingview, I just kept on coming back to it. And the other thing that I really like about Tradingview is that because it's web-based, I could open it up on my laptop, on my other laptop, on my phone, on my computer. It doesn't really matter. Everything is in sync and I could see everything because it's all on the cloud. So that's a huge, huge feature for Tradingview. Personally, I do think that it is worth the price. And as you can see, I have a premium account. And if you click explore our plans, you can see it's $50 a month. If you pay annually, if you pay monthly, it's $60 a month. So I do recommend paying annually. However, there are sales such as Black Friday where you could get really, really good deals. So if it's November and you're looking to get Tradingview, wait until Black Friday and get it then. Or maybe just sign up for the monthly, do a month, cancel, and you might get some emails or something possibly asking if you want to renew at a lower rate. But overall, Tradingview has done everything that I wanted it to do and that I could ask for. And I will be trying out other trading softwares in the future, so stay tuned for that. And maybe I'll change my mind. But as for right now, Tradingview is the trading platform for me and for the vast majority of traders out there. And that's going to do it for this video. Just one last thing before you go. If you want to learn how to actually trade and invest into cryptocurrencies intelligently, and you want to know the exact indicators, layouts, and strategies that I use in Tradingview in order to actually be a profitable trader, you could go to cryptolite.com and take the Crypto Mastery course, which takes you by the hand and walks you through every single step of the way in order to be a profitable and intelligent trader and investor into crypto. And so I'll have a link for cryptolite.com in the description description, as well as for the VIP Discord group if you're interested in getting market updates and my thoughts on the market. Otherwise, if you're on crypto Twitter, give me a follow at Lewis Raskin. And if you're on TikTok, give me a follow at Lewis Raskin as well. Thanks again for watching, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.